My name is Brandon Coffee-Borden, and I've lived in Montgomery Village for about 11 years, and I live in the Patton Ridge community. So I'm interested in serving on the Montgomery Village Foundation Board of Directors, in that I've had the opportunity to serve on the board since 2021, and I'm interested in continuing to serve because I believe in a transparent and attentive board that values and considers the diverse needs of village residents in its decision making. I hope to support responsible stewardship of our community amenities, programs, our resources, the things that are really vital to maintaining our thriving community. And I hope to encourage clear and consistent communication between MVF and the residents that MVF serves. And then finally, I hope to promote resident engagement in our community and help strengthen the connections that really help to bring our community together. So there's been a few other ways that I'm involved in our community. In addition to serving on the MVF board since 2021, I've served on the Patton Ridge Homes Corporation Board of Directors since 2018. And also currently I serve as treasurer of my daughter's PTA at Stetwick Elementary. So I have almost 20 years of experience working as a consultant in the areas of program and policy evaluation and organizational capacity building. And so as a result, I've developed skills in things like budgeting and contracting and negotiation and project management, as well as expertise in areas like community engagement. I think that work has also formed a very deep understanding of problems that families and communities across the country face and also promising solutions to those problems. And I really believe that that knowledge and experience will allow me to continue to make a valuable contribution to the board. So ultimately, I want our community to remain a place where people from different backgrounds and at different stages of life can continue to find a sense of belonging and build a home for themselves. And toward that end, one key area I'd like to address is the ongoing development of the village. And I really feel like this is an exciting time with construction continuing on Bloom Village and slated to end very soon. We've got new businesses coming into the village, and I think we're continuing to have important conversations about how do we renew or repurpose our community infrastructure in programs. I'm also committed to responsible stewardship of our physical and our financial resources. I recognize that homeowners in the village pay dues and they place trust in the board and expect the board to make good decisions on their behalf. And so I hope to continue to support sensible budgets that provide the short-term benefits that residents look for, while also trying to protect the long-term health and sustainability of the village. And then finally, I want to focus on community safety and specifically thinking about how we as community members can work together to create a safe and supportive place to live. I think that's really vital for residents to feel secure and confident in our community, ensuring that our children and youth can learn and grow comfortably in our community, and that when there are emerging safety concerns, that we're addressing them early on before they develop into larger issues. To implement the variety of concerns that I have, I think it really starts with community engagement and thinking about how do we engage with residents to understand what their needs are, what their perspectives are, and what barriers they see within the community. And then thinking about how do we, as a board, make sure that we're addressing those priorities, addressing those needs, and following through to ensure that residents are getting the things that they want to see in our community. So I really think it starts with engaging the community, listening, and then being responsive to what we hear. I think there's a variety of ways that we can try to engage residents of different backgrounds in our community affairs. First, I think to the greatest extent possible, our communication should be accessible, and we should really strive to share important information in different languages to the extent possible. I think regardless of the language that we share something in, we should use clear and concise wording. And then we should try to communicate through a variety of different channels, whether it's our community notice boards or social media. And I'm really excited about the new text messaging system and things like that. I also think it's important to create inclusive spaces that encourage participation. So we should continue to think about how our meetings and events could be held at convenient times and locations. One of the things that the board has been trying to balance is having some meetings virtually, which helps to address things like childcare or accessibility for people with disabilities, while also recognizing the need to and the importance of convening in person as well. So continuing to think about the convenient times and locations of our meetings and events. And also continuing to consider the things that I just mentioned: childcare, accessibility, cultural, religious needs, and the like. And I think third, I think engaging diverse communities starts with soliciting input, whether through surveys or forums, just to make sure that we're generally considering resident ideas and concerns, as I mentioned in the previous question. And I think finally, thinking about how do we celebrate the diversity of our community and strengthen community connections. There may be opportunities to have more cultural events, festivals, community projects where residents can showcase their background, their culture, and maybe learn from one another. Yes, I strongly support the environmental policy. And I think the underlying principle of coexisting with wildlife. I think protecting wildlife is essential for maintaining a healthy ecosystem here in the village and preserving the village's natural character and ensuring that the community remains sustainable for future village residents. And I think one key part of upholding the policy is to start with ongoing community awareness and education. I think helping residents understand the importance of our local wildlife, the importance of our local environment, how their actions can impact habitats here in the village, and thinking about practical ways to try to coexist in a safe and responsible way with our natural environment. So specifically thinking about proper waste management, respecting nesting areas, following through on guidelines in the village around feeding or interacting with animals and similar things. And I think from a board perspective, it's important for us to be doing environmentally responsible decision making when we're considering community projects, thinking about maintenance or development, but really trying to make sure that we're advocating for things that minimize the disruption to wildlife and our natural environment to the greatest extent possible. I see the future of Montgomery Village as strong and inclusive, and I think having a sustainable community that continues to be a desirable place to live for people of all ages and from different backgrounds. And I think to get there, we need to have a village that balances growth and change with respect for our shared history. The village is about to celebrate its 60th anniversary that respects our local environment and continues to build a sense of community. And I think to foster this future, I think it starts with community engagement, as I've spoken to in some of the previous questions. I think sustainability and responsible planning are essential. I think both in terms of long-term financial planning and then also maintaining our infrastructure and supporting environmentally friendly practices. And then finally, maintaining safety and quality of life is critical. So continuing to invest in our common areas, our recreation spaces, our community programs to continue to have a welcoming and secure place for residents to live. I appreciate the opportunity to stand for election and potentially continuing to serve on the board. I've served on the board for about 5 years or so now, and look forward to hopefully continuing to serve in the future. Thank you to those who have taken the time to view this video, and I just want to encourage everyone to please come out and vote in the MVF election. Please also vote in your local homes corporation election as well. And then finally, I would just say, please consider ways that you can be involved in the community. There's a variety of different ways to get involved, whether it's through MVF committees, serving on your local homes corporation, the Montgomery Village Sports Association. There's just a variety of different things that one can do to be involved. So I encourage you to think about how you can do that.